Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the video. And as the title says, this is going to be about my 5 best experiences as being a patron at the Masters. I ended up being able to go this year to Wednesday's practice round. Actually did a video about going before we went, so you might want to go check that one out and see how the two videos compare. But I got to take my girlfriend Phyllis to the practice round. And these are our 5 best experiences as being a patron. Now, let me set the table here. Obviously, I'm a golf pro. I've been to the Masters many, many times. Us PGA professionals, they give us a courtesy allowing us to go for free. So I've been a bunch of times. However, the last time I went was 2005. It was 18 years ago. So lots of changes, lots of things happening, and it was almost like being a new first timer. Okay, it was almost like being first time there had been so long. And Phyllis, she had never been to a golf tournament ever. She's not a golfer. Matter of fact, she had only ever been on 2 golf courses before in her life. So this was her 3rd golf course. And I wanted to see what her experience was like compared to mine. And so we went Wednesday's practice round. Stayed in there for 5 or 6 hours, walked almost the entire golf course, got to see all of the facilities pretty much. Didn't get down into the par 3. By the time we got there, it was just so crowded and we were hot, and we decided it was time to go. But on our way leaving the Masters, we were driving from Augusta back through Atlanta to Noonan, Georgia, where we were spending the night. I said to her, I said, okay, Phyllis, what are your top 5 experiences? And I wanted to see how hers compared to mine. And they were almost identical. Number 4 and number 5, we could have flip-flopped, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the same. So here they are. So what's the number 1 best thing about going to Augusta National and attending the Masters? It's the golf course. The golf course is just absolutely magnificent. The condition, the beauty, the layout, the slopes, the undulation, the views, everything about the golf course is great. It is really, really a masterpiece. Better. As I'm talking here, you're going to be seeing a few pictures from my camera that I had with me. And it's, Phyllis is looking at it just from the beauty. I'm looking at it from a golfer, and just, the things that I'm noticing are probably a little different than hers. But it's just, the edges of the bunkers are just perfectly clean and crisp. The mow lines on the tee boxes from the tee height of the grass to the next cut are just perfect. Everything about it is great. Just where the grass meets the pine straw going into the trees, there's no growth coming up under the pine straw. They have everything about the golf course is just perfect. So what's number 2? Number 2, and this was Phyllis's number 2, this was my number 2, seeing the players. It's just a really, really good experience to be able to see these guys that you watch on television, see them up close and watch them play a golf course that us golfers, we know very well. For the standpoint that the Masters is on the same course every single year. And we know from watching it year after year after year, the holes. And just watching the guys play. And I really like being at the practice rounds because I like watching them hit, different putts. I like watching them go take their golf balls and put them off the green and hit pitch shots that they're anticipating that they may have. And just watching their skill. I mean, they're so good. So we got to follow a group that had Scotty Scheffler, it had Sam Burns, and it had Tom Kim. And we caught them actually on number 1. They were our first group, and we watched them play number 1, and then we watched them tee off on number 2. And then we caught back up with them on 3 and watched them play number 4 and tee off 5. And it was great. You know, Scotty Scheffler, the number 1 player in the world. Sam Burns is a really young player from Louisiana who is excellent. And as you see, they both played very well in the first day. I want to say another really cool thing about seeing the players is that you get to see the past champions, and a lot of times playing with these young guys. So when we're out there, we're standing on, we were on number 3 and we've moved over to the tee box on number 4. I wanted to get a little bit of a different perspective. I had my camera with me, and you know, you see these videos that I'm showing as I'm talking, and I wanted to see if I could get their tee shots, a video of their tee shots. And we're looking back over at number 3 green, and out walks Bernhard Langer. And he walks out onto the green and he shakes their hands. And I don't know if this was set up before that he was going to join them, or he just got to the golf course and just said, hey, who's on the course and who can I join up with? But he just walked in, shook their hands, and joined them. And he played the rest of the practice round with them. So now you've got Scotty Scheffler, the number 1 player in the world. Sam Burns, a really good young player from the United States. Tom Kim playing along, and I don't know that much about Tom Kim. But then you've got Bernhard Langer, former champion, 60 years old, I believe Bernhard is, or maybe a little bit older. Fantastic shape, and he just dominates the players, the Champions Tour. Here they are all playing golf together. And, you know, these young guys are just bombing it out there. And Bernhard, at 60 years old, still hits it great, but it's a totally different game. So you can watch these players play. It's just so cool. All right, so the number 3 thing, it's the customer service. I don't know where they find all of their employees and how much training they have to go through, or their volunteers, all that stuff, but everybody is happy. I mean, they are all happy to be there, and they are all happy that you're there. And I can just imagine myself working at one of these events, and trust me, there are a ton of people there. That it was very crowded to me from my experiences before. There were a lot more people there, a lot more patrons there. But these employees, the volunteers, everybody, they're handling it fantastic. Hey, welcome to the Masters. I hope you have a great time. And you know, the people running the concession stands, just, hey, thank you so much. And it's just absolutely incredible the way that you're treated. And I'll just give you one experience specifically to us. When we were coming in as a PGA professional, like I said, I get complimentary entrance. And you're coming in, and there's a sign there that says PGA, LPGA, and something else. And we go off to the side, and we go up to a special little check-in where I show my credentials. And so I saw the sign, and I'm with Phyllis, and I said to Phyllis, I said, hey, this is where I need to go. And I said, you know, stay right here. And I said, I'll be right back. Or I was trying to figure out what I needed to do. And there's a lady standing right there, and she says, no. She says, ma'am, you come along with him. You come with him. And she's just like, okay, you two are together. Just come this way. And man, we just walk around. They check Phyllis's badge. They check my credentials, give me a badge. And then, boom, we're inside. So the customer service, the way you're treated when you're there is awesome. Number 4, the concession stand. It's awesome. And I swear, it's like every concession stand should be. You know, you go to these big events and you just feel like you're just getting ripped off. You're at a professional baseball game and you're gonna buy a beer and it's $9 and you're just like, come on, that's ridiculous. Well, here's a little side video of the sign at the concession stand.
Okay, the infamous Masters menu. Prices are still great. I will be going for an egg salad and a pimento cheese.
So how about those prices? That's amazing, isn't it? you go to any other sporting event and you go to the concession stand and you just feel like you're just getting punched in the face. You're getting ripped off. They're stealing from you. At Augusta, you walk in, you see the prices, and it's like they're telling you, hey, we're glad you're here. So that was very soon after we had arrived. We got there and we walked up number 1, and this concession stand where we were was to the right of number 2 fairway. And we had left Covington, Georgia that morning about 6 o'clock, driving to Augusta, and by the time we got in the gates it was 9 and we hadn't eaten breakfast yet. So we saw this first concession stand and went in, and you go back down this pathway, you're back in the trees, down into the concession stand. And so we got 2 egg salad sandwiches, we got 1 pimento cheese sandwich, Phyllis drank a lemonade and I drank a Sprite. And that was our breakfast. We hadn't eaten yet. And we paid $10.50. Now, you can't go to McDonald's and get breakfast for $10.50 for 2 people anymore. And that's just another one of the fantastic experiences of being a patron at the Masters, is how you're treated. So 1 was the golf course, 2 was the players, 3 customer service. Sorry about the ambulances going by here. 3 is the customer service, and then 4 is the concession stand. And 3 and number 4 kind of go together. It's just how you feel when you're there, that they want you there. They love to have you there. And it makes it really, really special. So the last thing, number 5, what's the 5th best thing? And it's their ability to handle all of the logistics and making the golf course and the golf tournament number 1. So like I just said, that concession stand on number 2, it's off to the right. You can't see any of it from standing in the fairway. All you have is a sign right there pointing to the concession stand. And they've got this path, and you walk down this path, and all of a sudden you walk in, and before you get there, they've got to the side, they've got up behind the bushes, they've got these stand-up tables that 4 or 5 people can stand around and put their drinks on. They've got them just all kind of spread out. And then you just walk down there, and then here's this big building that's a concession stand, and over to the left of it is the restrooms. You can't see any of that from the golf course. When you're back in there, you can't see the golf course. Now, we watch golf tournaments on television all the time, and they've got the big white tents out there, and they've got this corporate tent over here and this corporate tent over here, and you've got food being cooked and people all standing around. You can't see any of that from the golf course. It is the golf tournament is number 1. They want it to be all about the golf tournament. So when you're out on the golf course watching the golf, it's it. You can't see anything else. Now, the main concession stand back by the clubhouse, you walk up, and I hate crowds. I don't like being in crowds. I hate standing in line, okay? I detest it. And I'll look at something and there's a long line, and I'll just say, forget it, I'm not doing it. Just like we didn't go in the golf shop. The golf shop line was super, super long, and I wasn't going to stand in line. Frankly, I didn't want to buy anything anyway, but I wouldn't have mind going in there and looking around, but we didn't go in because of the line. Now, I heard from Shirley, the LPGA professional at the golf course. She was there the same day, and I saw her yesterday afternoon. Matter of fact, we taught a clinic together, and she had on her master's hat. I said, "Oh, y'all went into the golf shop?" I said, "We didn't go in." I said, "That line was just too long." She goes, "Didn't take very long." She said, "You stood in line. You were in line for about 15 minutes." And she's a big going to Disney World. I said, "That's a lot better than going to Disney World." She says, "Oh yeah." She said, "So it's the way that they handle everything." And so you stand in this line going into the concession stand, and it's just, you're constantly moving. Then all of a sudden you get down there, they've got 4 or 5 different lines that you go through. You go through, grab what you want. At the end, they've got like 5 or 6 different cashiers. Boom, you're out of there. They are making things flow. I did a little YouTube short yesterday about the line of traffic going in, and I was a little irritated. Like I said, I hate being in line, and we're kind of stuck in this traffic. But then after I realized what had gone on, it's amazing what they have done. So the head professor in our course, Lawrence, he was at the Masters as well. Matter of fact, he was staying in the exact same hotel as we were in Covington, and he must have left 30 to 40 minutes before we did. So he left at 5:20 in the morning or 5:30 in the morning, and we left at 6 o'clock to get there. Well, he got off a totally different exit on I-20 than we did. So what they are doing is they've got this big, huge parking lot where they've acquired all this land, and it's free. It's parking for the event. Free parking. Listen to that, people. Free parking. And he's coming in, going east on I-20, and he gets off at exit number, holy crap. Sorry, a big, huge hawk just flew right through my yard. It must have been after a squirrel. Sitting on a tree up there. All right, so back to the video. He gets off at exit 195, and he said no traffic. He just gets off the exit, boom, he's in the parking lot. Well, as we get there 30 minutes later, exit 195, it doesn't say. They had big signs out on the interstate of where you're to exit. Masters traffic, exit. We were exiting number 200. So he got off the interstate 5 miles before we did. He's in. We then go 5 more miles down the interstate. We pass Washington Road, which, when I have gone all the previous times, you got off at Washington Road and you found a place to park right there. Washington Road, completely blocked off. Couldn't get off. We get off at exit 200. They route us around the north and over to the east and around, and we come in the opposite direction on Washington Road. I'll put a picture or two up while we're talking here of the traffic. And you're now just getting this traffic, and you're coming to the parking lot from the opposite side. In my head, the whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? But it was to control the traffic out on the interstate. Had everybody just gotten off at that same exit, 195 where Lawrence got off, the interstate would have been backed up for miles. Well, they have gotten everybody off the interstate, and now they've got them out into the streets of Augusta, which is keeping the flow of traffic moving. So whoever handles their logistics is brilliant. So there you go. There are the 5 best things about being a patron at the Masters. 1, the golf course. 2, the players. 3, the customer service. 4, the concession stand. And 5, the way that they handle the crowd. The way they handle you as a patron and making sure that your experience is the best. And people, this is why the Masters, in my opinion, is the #1 sporting event that you can ever go to. Thanks for watching, and take a look at some of my other videos. Go back and look at the one of me talking about my upcoming trip and see how the two compare. I'll talk to you later.